If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
Moving on to the next caller. You are live on the air. Please tell us your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi. My name is Mike. I'm calling from Dayton, Ohio.
Welcome.
And thank you. Thanks for taking my call. I was curious as to the concept of the Messiah being glorified. Like in the New Testament, when Jesus returns, he's going to come with the clouds, and every eye shall see him. It's like the lightning from the east to the west. And I know in Daniel it talks about the Messiah will come with the clouds. I was wondering if in Judaism, if the Messiah will be glorified or will he just appear as a normal man? And my second part of the question is, will the invisible be visible on earth during the reign of the Messiah? Like in the New Testament, it says the tabernacle of God will be with men, and man will be able to see God and angels and other deceased people. And so I was just curious as to Judaism's answer to that.
Okay, very good.
Right.
Go ahead and hang up now to me, so thank you for your call.
We're deeply rooted in Tanakh. We want to know, what does Hashem say? I mean, after all, like, what's God's opinion? That really is what matters, right? That's what matters. So who is the Mashiach? In Tanakh, although that word appears 39 times, it's actually never referring to the Mashiach. It's there, but it refers to people who are anointed for the purpose of being a priest, a king. Sometimes you have a non-Jew who's anointed. Anointed means that someone is performing the purpose of Hashem, that's all, in a position of leadership. Mashiach is a great-great-grandson of David HaMelech, a patrilineal descent, and Shlomo HaMelech, King David and King Solomon. And he will be a great teacher. And not only will he teach the Jewish people, but he will teach the world. He'll give hoichacha to the nations. I strongly encourage you to read Isaiah chapter 2. We have almost the same words in Micah chapter 4. And tells us this explicitly. Isaiah chapter 11, why would we trust a king? The reason why, I imagine from your accent, you're an American. Why do you like democracy rather than a theocracy? Because you don't trust the king. It's a much more efficient system, but you don't trust any one person. And as an American, you like the system of government, of separation of powers. It's very attractive because you have checks that have to be balanced, and you have different powers in government, and you want to make sure that they're all really quite separate. And then you're hoping that it'll all work out. It's not very efficient. It's slow. It's a bureaucracy. But you don't want a king unless he's a great-great-grandson of David, and upon whom the Spirit of Hashem lies and rests. That's different. And he doesn't judge people after the sight of his eyes, but the Spirit of Hashem that's placed upon him. And we are told that all the nations will get it immediately, and that they will serve him, meaning they will recognize that he is a Davidic king. War will come to an end. The chariots of Ephraim and the war horses from Yerushalayim will be removed. The battle bow will be broken. And he will proclaim peace to the nations. His rule will extend from sea to sea and from river to the ends of the world. No miracles there, is there? HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give this to him. We find the exact same idea conveyed in Daniel 7, which you pointed out. In Daniel 7, verse 13, one who is like a son of man. That's really important. Why does Daniel say that he's a son of man? And this is a vision he's having. Why does he describe this vision, son of man? So that sounds weird. Okay, it's really not weird. And strangely, Christians say that Son of Man means divine, which is mind-blowing, really is mind-blowing. The thing about my audience, I think, is the vast majority of them are ex-Christians. The vast majority of my viewers, I think, I'm not sure, are ex-Christians. So you know, like, I'm not making this stuff up. And Son of Man is meant to convey what? That you're not the son of a virgin, that there's actually, you have a mommy and a daddy. That's the whole point. The whole point is you're not divine if you're a son of man. And that's why Ezekiel, a blessed memory, a great prophet, who encounters a vision that is described in the most ecstatic language. That's the opening of the book of Ezekiel. You might think that Ezekiel himself might have been divine to encounter the divine chariot, and he's immediately called Son of Man. Ezekiel was definitely not a god. He's not worthy of worship. So Son of Man means not God, clouds of heaven. So then people think about a coloring book. I'm not kidding. They think, well, it must be like he's coming in cloud. He's not. It doesn't sound human. No, he's coming with the clouds of heaven, not on the clouds of heaven. Why is he coming with the clouds of heaven? Because the clouds of heaven are that which people trusted in rather than the roof. The clouds of heaven, the Anani HaKavod, the clouds of glory, are what protect the children of Israel in their 40-year journey in the wilderness, which they shouldn't have survived. I've been to the Sinai. You won't survive it. The burning sun during the day, at this time of the year, the cold at night, terrible. You wouldn't survive a day. So, but you had the clouds of glory that protected you. So the one why is it like a son of man? Because Daniel is having a vision in Daniel 7. What he envisions, what he sees is real, but it's in his mind. It's non-veridical. It's prophetic. Means HaKadosh Baruch Hu put that in his mind. The angel has to explain to him what is he viewing. There really wasn't a lion there with wings. There wasn't a lion there. He sees this in a night vision. There's not a bear literally there with 3 ribs in its mouth. It represents Persia. There wasn't really a leopard there that had 4 heads. It represents the Greek Empire and Alexander the Great's early death and the 4 kingdoms that would emerge and continue in the Greek Empire. And there wasn't really this crazy creature with 10 horns. He couldn't really touch it. No, those 10 horns represent the 10 emperors of Rome, from Julius Caesar to Vespasian. Now, Julius Caesar technically was not an emperor. He called him the dictator. Same thing, right? And then there's a little horn. During the time of the destruction of the Second Temple, Titus Harasha was a general. He eventually becomes an emperor. So these are non-veridical but really important visions. And the same thing, a human being comes, Son of Man, no virgin. This virgin birth thing, the notion of virgin birth, was very popular in the ancient world. It's not popular with the God of Israel. So you should know he's a son of man. He comes with clouds of heaven because he trusts in the clouds. And who does he come to? He comes to the Ancient of Days. Who's that? That's God. What doesn't this person have? He doesn't have sovereign, doesn't have anything. Only thing is, he really fears Hashem. See Isaiah chapter 11, verse 2 and 3, where it's repeated over and over again. He fears HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He fears God. God doesn't fear God. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be his name, then endows him with sovereignty that all nations will recognize that he is a king who is anointed by Hashem, and everyone will follow him. So when the true Mashiach comes, everyone will recognize him as king. Everyone will. And what will be obvious to us is the truth. When the true Mashiach comes, everyone will understand the truth, and the knowledge of Hashem will cover the world as the water covers the sea. Sefer Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 14. And Habakkuk says, in the same chapter, just a little earlier, in chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, he says that these things are happening, and a tzaddik will thrive and live through his faith and trust that even though these things take time, they will occur. Unfortunately, the church will misuse Habakkuk 2, verse 4, which says that a righteous person will live by his faith. In Galatians 3 and Romans 1, it's a nightmare to misuse it that you don't have to keep mitzvot. So when the true Mashiach comes, everyone will know the emes, everyone will know the truth, and they'll all turn to the one God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Mashiach is not a miracle man. He's not that. He's not Superman. He's not any of those things. And please God, we will all see the true Messiah quickly in our lives. If you enjoyed this program, please like and subscribe.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ועת נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נועד